exciting to have money?
Yes.
Great. Would you just stand up and tell everyone your name, since they probably haven't met you?
Hi, my name is Rocio. R-O-C-I-O. I know that's weird, but
Rocio.
no, it's
Rocio.
Hi,
Rocio. Great. And you as well.
I'm Tom Teal, and I'm visiting with Jordan.
Oh, I'm so
Last time I
sorry.
saw you, we were in Kauai.
Oh, yes, of course. Hi, it's good to see you.
You didn't bring your selfie stick.
No, I didn't. Surprisingly, but I didn't, yes. So, and who's online tonight? So I have Joselito. Hello, Joselito. Sandy. Hi. Mary Steck. Could you click that button over a little bit, Gamba? The blue button up top. Just to see. Okay, Aaron. Hey, Donya. Hello, Donya. Aaron, Shade. Hello. Carol. Hello. And there we are. A lot of people are watching this after the fact tonight, but here we go. So let's all take a deep breath. So just let these words float over you. Within each of us is an inner urge to live life to the fullest and to share that fullness. Within each of us is an inner urge to live life to its fullest and to share that fullness. Our first week's affirmation was, I will stretch more than I can reach. So just take that into your mind for a moment. I will stretch more than I can reach. Last week's affirmation was, I choose greatness in every decision I make. I choose greatness in every decision I make. And this week's affirmation, I expect the unexpected, and I expect it now. I expect the unexpected, and I expect it now. So I invite you to take another deep breath. And as you let it go, let's get very clear that this is a sacred space, that we are surrounded by, immersed in, and one as this amazing divine life force that we call God. We call by many names, but what I know it as is each and every single one of us sitting here or sitting in front of any device. And so I know that this infinite source, this infinite wellspring of energy and creative ingenuity, this wisdom and knowing, this life energy that moves through me tonight, brings forth everything that needs to be known. And I am blessed by every question, every answer, every word of Eric Butterworth, every word of Raven Charles Barker, every word of each person in this room online and who will watch this and participate later. Knowing that it is all constantly unfolding to its highest and best. And so I say thank you. Thank you for this night. Thank you for this time that we have each carved out on purpose to be the purpose-driven mind that each one of us is. And with that gratitude, with that purpose, with that knowing, with that love in my heart, I just step aside and allow this class to unfold perfectly as it always does, as it always will, and as right here and right now, it continues to manifest perfectly. So I just let it be so. As together we all say, and so it is. Okay, well, welcome back. How was your week?
Excellent.
Awesome. And the rest of you? So tonight I have an overview topic for the whole night, and it's this: creative optimism. Terry, what do you think that means? Creative optimism.
Well, I had an opportunity when I walked in tonight to make a donation for something, and I called my wife to see what she thought about it, and I said, we could use a little extra money this month. so what about if we do this? And she said, fine, whatever you want. But it was very interesting what went through my mind, not could we do it, could we afford it, or should I do it? But my first thought was, if I give it out, I'm going to get it back. That's creative optimism.
Multiplied abundantly.
Exactly.
Okay, that's creative. I love that. What a great way to answer that. Creative optimism. Kelly, what do you think creative optimism is?
I think it is just belief in possibility, knowing the absolute best.
Okay, good answer. Mary Stack, what do you think? Creative optimism. Don't forget to unmute yourself.
I'm unmuting myself. Creative optimism is knowing who and what I am at all times. Because in the belief of a creative, intelligent universe, I can only be optimistic in that space.
I think that's great. So, in other words, creative optimism for me is if I want to say expect the unexpected, I'm going to close my door because I was not expecting this phone call. So, creative optimism, as Mary just said, is looking at your life from a creative place and always being optimistic. Why? Because you know who you are. When you know who you are, when you get it that you are God, you are the infinite creativity of the universe, then you can be very creative in being optimistic about about things that perhaps don't seem so optimistic. Let me put it that way. And certainly we are in the midst of let's say a political landscape where many people cannot be very optimistic, and yet we can be. Why? Because I know who I am. And because I trust and understand how the universe unfolds for the highest and best at all times, regardless of what I'm looking at. So that's what creative optimism is. So when it comes to money, let's think about it, in your own personal lives, that means no matter where you are on the financial scale, no matter how much you have, no matter how much you owe, no matter how much you need, I love what Terry said, yeah, we could use more money this month. So here's a donation. Most people will be like, we could use more money this month. Let's cut back. That's not creative optimism. That's creative scarcity. So creative optimism is really understanding yourself from a much higher level of consciousness and making your decisions from that place, which is pretty great because this month at our center, at Global Truth Center, actually both centers now. Yeah, what am I saying? This month at the one center, as in two coming together as one, we're really looking at understanding that every decision we make must be in the affirmative for our happiness. I must know that every decision I make is a way to make myself happy. I will not make a decision where it does not take me to my happiness. So that's what I want you to think about this coming week, this idea of creative optimism. I really want you to play with that. I want you to notice when you're optimistic and when you're pessimistic. How many pessimists do I have here?
Sometimes.
You're just the only honest one. Yes. Sometimes you are very pessimistic. I've had your class. So if you get all the way to becoming a practitioner, I know everything I need to know. Well, actually, you're one of the least pessimistic people I know. But it's easy to be pessimistic. It really is, looking at what we're looking at. But why do we become pessimistic? Because suddenly we become what we're looking at. We forget who we are, and we suddenly become this situation, this incident, this problem, this financial situation. So the rest of this 10 weeks, really, you should be spending a lot of time optimistically looking at your finances, honestly looking at them. And when I say honestly, that doesn't mean, oh, well, then if I'm going to be honest about it, I can't be very optimistic because it's very bleak. No, it can't be bleak because you're God. There's just something off, and that's all we're looking at here. So last week's homework, I asked you to make a list of all the no's in your life. Do you remember that? Yeah. Did you do it?
Yeah.
So take a look at all the things you're saying no to. So Suzanne, what did you come up with? What did you find out? Did you do it?
I did.
Okay.
That particular thing I didn't bring with me, but
Well, do you remember something that
Yes.
you?
yes, saying yes to things that I don't really want to do.
Which is saying no to yourself.
Right.
Lori, what did you find?
Yeah, I have a list. You want the list?
Yeah.
Okay.
Read it off.
Huh?
Read it off.
No to old baggage. No to this virus that's been having me go around with my health. No to a guy I've been dating. No to
Slip that one in.
no to a guy that decided to quit at Oil Can Harry's, a musician friend. No to clutter. No to discouraging thoughts. No to doubt, fear, and worry. No to sugar. No to this. Again, this thing's going through with the virus, whatever. No doubt. No to doubt, fear, and worry. No to the sore throat. No to judgment of others. No resistance to teaching. No fear. No to doubt. No fatigue. No depression. No unhealthy foods, and no negativity.
Good for you.
And it's not done yet.
It's an ongoing no.
Yes.
Got it. Joselito, did you do it? Did you make a list?
I did make the list. Do you want to hear it?
I do.
Okay. So I said no to eating pastries, sugary desserts, and gelato. No to potato chips. No to giving excuses. No to having my iPhone by my bed during sleep. No to being unfocused at work. And no to having my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram notifications on my phone.
Good for you. And I so love the one of no to the phone by the bed. You know, people talk about, and I heard a guy give a TED talk about that, where he was saying we have become a culture that is so tied to our iPhones that we rarely sleep, because there's a part of our conscious that's always waiting to hear the phone ring. We don't ever turn it off because it's right there next to us. And I tried to explain that to Kevin, and it did not go over. He said, "Oh my God, I have to set my alarm." And I was like, he even covered that in his TED talk, saying, "Did you never hear of an alarm clock that doesn't answer your phone for you?" So it was very interesting. That's a great list. I love that. So the second thing I add, Sandy, did you do your notes?
I thought about, I wrote 3 down, but
What are they?
judging myself, eating processed foods, and second guessing myself.
Anybody else have that? Those are good.
Like,
Processed foods, I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
Doing that standard processed cleanse, that 21-day cleanse, where you could eat nothing that was processed, nothing that was boxed, bagged, canned, anything, it's a life changer. It really is. Totally. Anybody else have? Alfie,
Yeah. Say no to laziness,
no to laziness,
negativity, and sad thoughts.
sad thoughts,
Oh, I have one.
what?
No to procrastination.
No to procrastination. I'm gonna talk about that tonight a little bit. What about you, JV?
I put no to doubts about my finances, no to negative judgment of others, no to accepting working with people who do not use logic.
Hey, Gambit, hold on a second. Gambit, when see if you can zoom in when they're there. Great. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the biggest one. It's like 2 + 2 is 4. It's not 10, unless you're living on Mars. So I only deal with intelligent, logical people. I do not accept stupidity or ignorance.
Are you a school teacher? No.
I am now.
That's awesome. Okay, now the next piece of homework. So the next thing was for you to do your self-assessment. And you were all asked to bring, did you have any notes you wanted to bring up?
Sure. Well, like when I got home that night, Ronnie yelled, "Will you set up the Google Home this weekend?" And I just said, "No." And she said, "I guess I'll do it then." So I didn't know it was that easy for me to just yell no. There was the next day I said something about wanting the young adult ministry to be prosperous. And she said, "Well, young adults don't make very much money." And I thought about it and I wrote an email and I said, let's not bring this mentality into this. Let's know that this will be prosperous. Let's let go of any ideas we have about what this can do and take that prosperous mentality to that. And she was all about it.
And so what she just said was no to race consciousness.
Right.
And that's something we all need to do. No to raise consciousness. I don't live my life based on what the poll tells me is going to happen. Great.
And the other one is Preciosa's birthday was on Saturday, and we showed up and we saw the line and we said we're going to go home, and we did, even though we showed up and gave her a hug and stood in line with her, and it felt kind of funky to drive all the way to Glendale and be like, this line is too long. I'm not going to go skating after standing in this line, but we decided it was okay. And Preciosa said it was all right too. Her feelings weren't hurt.
Okay, good. So the next one is the self-assessment. So you all did your paragraphs, right? So I know you didn't do a paragraph because you didn't know. So I'm going to let you, when I do this next little piece, you're just going to get like 30 seconds to explain to someone what you think of yourself. Okay? Honestly, just and that's all it is. Okay? Now, Linda, you'll do the same thing. Now, you guys online, I'm going to run into the room back there, put the headsets on. We're going to muffle you, and I'm going to listen to you guys tell me. Okay? You people online. Yeah, I know. So you all thought you got out of it, but no. I'll be online listening to you. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to pair off into twos. Please do not sit with your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or all of the above. Find someone that you maybe aren't used to talking to, someone that you maybe don't know, if that's possible, although it might be possible in this room for the two churches to mix it up and go to the other church. Okay? And then the one agape person in the back. So pair off into twos, and you'll take turns reading. You get 1 minute you guys are going to get a minute to read your self-assessment. Now here's what I want though. The person reading it, work really hard not to apologize as you're reading it, Sandy. Okay? Do not apologize or backpedal or say, oh, I didn't mean it. Yeah. Just read it. You're like the law. Be impersonal. Just read it. Okay? That's number one. The person listening, do not respond. Okay, here's what I don't want. Oh, I'm the same way. Yeah, I think that too, okay? It's just, you just listen lovingly, okay? You just listen and let the person read. So I'm going to give you all like 3 minutes, and I will start. Hold on. That's all I need. That's all I'm going to tell you until we come back. So just mix it up and talk to one another, and I'll come back in like 3 minutes. Okay, can you guys hear me online? Let me muffle. Let me mute this. Okay, great. Here we are. So now you can all hear me. So let's start. Mary, do you want to unmute you and tell me?
Okay. I didn't so much write a paragraph as I just kind of wrote thoughts. And it says, I'm the type of person that at times has trouble following through. I get great ideas and then they lie. Procrastination and insecurity, along with inflated concern about what people think of me, tends to paralyze me at times.
Okay, great. Okay, Joselito?
So I came up with a list. Okay, let me just read my list. I'm a powerful person, and I help to bring significant, transformative, and positive changes with the people around me, the people I work with, and the world. I'm healthy and vibrant. I love to laugh. I enjoy deep, meaningful conversations with loved ones. I'm a loving partner, and I'm generous with my heart to him. I'm a smart business person and I'm growing and evolving as a successful entrepreneur. I enjoy teaching and helping to uplift minds to joyous possibilities. I'm powerful with my prayers. I'm a great cook and I love cooking delicious meals. I love money and learning all things about money. And then there are some things that I took off the list, but I'll just read them anyways. I have pre-diabetes and cholesterol and high cholesterol and allergies. I have some weight to lose and I could use some work with my money.
Okay, good.
Hey, James,
Yes.
I have a whole list of stuff I am. I just kind of listed the stuff I needed to work on.
That's fine. I love all the positive things about you, and I appreciate that you brought the others in play. Great.
I can go on forever about those.
Sandy?
Okay, so my assessment, Sandy's self-assessment of Sandy says, I am a strong, capable, and determined woman. I have proven myself to stand in the face of adversity and rise above, yet there is a part of me that identifies with being inadequate, of someone who doesn't matter and is safer being invisible. Somewhere I got the message that I am unworthy of being loved. And then I wrote, I refuse to give in to the false belief and will work until this belief is drowned and dies in the knowing that I am God, I am loved, and all is well.
Cool. Very, 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 very honest. Great.
Thank you.
Okay, who am I left with? Oh, hi, Marion. Hit it, Marion.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm coming into this late, James, so I'm catching up here. So I didn't actually see class number 2 yet.
Okay.
This is my first live class.
Okay, so here's the question. All this question is this. It's you cannot go beyond your own self-image, who you know yourself to be. So just very quickly in a couple in like 10 seconds, just who do you think you are? What's your assessment of you?
I'm a lover of nature. I have a big heart. I like to be generous to my friends and family. I like to make my presence known in the world in some good way.
Great. Do you like you?
Yes, I do, actually.
Good. Excellent. Okay, that's as simple as that is. Carol?
Hi. I put mostly things that I wanted to work on, and it starts with procrastination and insecurity, and that I'm good at making excuses to myself and others, which I wish to correct. Mm-hmm. I'm open to new experiences and new beginnings, but I've proven to myself to rise above many things, but do tend to wait till the 11th hour for everything having to do with my good.
Okay, there you go. Donya?
I wrote that, let me read. My true self is fun, loving, happy, childlike, gregarious, and filled with joy. I'm a deep thinker and a creative spirit. I have potential for greatness, but I often look at my surroundings and take stock in it and conform to it or accept it as fact. I feel often I can be a slave to others, and I fear commitment because I believe all relationships come with conditions. And that's something I really want to work on.
Okay, great. Great. Aaron? Aaron, do you know how to take the mute off your screen? It's in the Zoom thing. No. Okay. All right, guys. Good. Thank you. You can now unmute everything. All right, everyone. We are back. Come on back. I love that you two like hand on
Okay, so here's what I want to hear. Here's what I want to hear from you.
Really?
I want to know how many of you found yourselves listening to some of your own self-assessment. So what did you listen to? What did you hear?
Just how loving she is towards others, and yet loses herself when trying to give so much of herself to others.
Okay, good. Who else had their hand up?
I had the if you disagree with Mom, it was like World War III. You know, so it was, and I was not, vocal about it. I would go along, but since I was, I think, 10, I always dreamed of living on my own.
So in a self-assessment, what does that mean? What does that make you? What does that, both of you, were you together?
Yes.
Okay, so what does that mean? How does that play in you assessing yourself now?
Well, I even put this on my just say no list. I'm going to stop being a people pleaser.
People pleaser. So there's the self-assessment. Okay, great. Who else? Yeah, Orestes?
I didn't mention that one was sharing, but one was being grateful.
Oh, just generally, great.
Yeah, a lot of things are present
Yes,
in my
and
life.
that's Laurie's too.
Yeah, that was. I didn't read to her, but it was not.
Good. Who else found themselves listening to David?
I found that JV was releasing doubts and fears that have held her back for many years, and making choices that are conscious and clear, and discovering that she is the creator of her reality.
And so you found that to be you too?
Absolutely.
Great. Well, I got to listen to everybody up there, and it was really interesting to listen to all of them and hear things about myself over the years. So we can identify with a lot of other people's assessments of themselves and realize that it's ours. So why is this so important in Decide to Have Money? Well, your financial outlook, your financial statement, what your world looks like financially is based on what you think of yourself. I mean, it just is. It's perfectly linked. You can, as Eric Butterworth said last week, you cannot go beyond actually Raymond Charles Barker, you cannot go beyond your own assessment of yourself. You just can't. So if you think you are someone that only lives at this level of financial opulence, then that's where you're going to be. And I think I said this last week. It was funny when when Kevin and I were talking about money, about winning the lottery, about those guys. What I talked about last week, those guys that sold what's that thing? Snapchat. Did I talk about that last week with you? Must have been the practitioner class. So I talked about the guys sold Snapchat. They're in their 20s, and they sold it for $36 billion. Each of these 20-something-year-olds made over $18 billion by selling Snapchat, which basically they came up with because their friends, they were at a party or something, and they said out of nowhere, they said, we need an app where you can send something really gross, but it disappears right away, so you're not caught having sent it. And they figured it out. I don't know if it was really gross. I think I made that up. But something that, you don't want to stay there forever. That's my opinion of it. I'm like, I know what you're using that for. $16 billion. And I said to Kevin, could you imagine having $16 billion? And he said, no. Oh my God, I couldn't even imagine that. And I went, I can. I really can. Mm-hmm. And then there's going to come a day when someone's going to say $16 billion. Well, that's good. Not a lot of money. I had lunch with someone today who asked me about, they said, oh my God, you must have made a killing selling the National Arts Center. I said, in the long run, not a lot of money. It's just not a lot of money. And I really am understanding this. You cannot set your sights on, people used to say, I just want to be a millionaire. You better be. To live in this world, you got to become a millionaire at least, just to survive. It keeps going up. The financial possibilities keep going up. So must our consciousness. So your self-assessment is literally is attracting everything to you. So it's very important to know what you think of yourself. Mm-hmm. Because what we also talked about last week was leaking money. And by the way, leaking energy is like leaking money, leaking your time. People suck time out of you. People want to waste your time. You want to waste your time. Procrastination is one of the biggest financial killers in the system. So you've got to know who you are, how you navigate life, where you're leaking money, time, your talents, your creativity, and be on top of it. So it is important for you to know. And the reason why I wanted you to read it to one another, besides the fact that we don't have time for everybody to say it, is because I think it's really important for us to listen, oh my God, we're all doing this. Who do you surround yourself with? Do you surround yourself with people that are there to expand your life, that want to help support everything you're doing? Or do you surround yourself with a lot of naysayers who are always going, that's not going to happen? It's really important. I look at this young, beautiful lady and the ministry she's just beginning. I've probably had 10 conversations this week about her because I am so excited about where she's going and what she's going to accomplish in this world. And I'm excited that I got to be her teacher. So I get to tell that to everybody. So she wants me around her life because I'm going to keep pushing and keep expanding. That's the people you want. But there are also people in your life that are not going to necessarily be there for you that way. And it's not even their fault. They just don't have the consciousness of it. There are people in this world that are very jealous, And therefore, when you try to say you're good, you're going to get this energy coming in. You're not even going to know what it feels like. It's just not going to feel good. So you got to be awake. You have to be willing to be awake and understand what's going on around you. So, one word. So here's what I want to do to close this off. I want you to give me one word, a one-word assessment of who you are, based on what you wrote. And I want you to be honest. One-word assessment of where you think you are right now. So, Sandy on the screen. That's Sandy in the room. Sandy, give me your one-word assessment.
Determined.
Determined, great. Mary?
Authentic.
Okay, Carol? Carol, you there? Marion?
Committed.
Committed. Donya?
Skeptical.
Okay, skeptical. Good. Erin doesn't have her thing working. Could you back this way? Joselito?
Optimistic.
Okay. Shade?
I don't know.
Okay, that's 3 words, but okay. Who did I miss up there? Thank
Carol?
you. Carol, go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, committed.
Committed. Okay, great. And I think that's everybody. Go back. Yes, good. Okay. Becky. Changing.
Ebullient.
What?
Ebullient.
Ebullient? Ebullient? What does that mean?
Brilliant. What? Who said that?
No, you tell me what you think it means.
I think it means enlightened.
I got it.
What? I'm becoming enlightened.
Okay.
Awakening.
Awakening.
Joyful.
Joyful.
Expectant.
You're expecting?
Expectant.
Dedicated.
Great.
Prosperous. Excited.
That's like excited. That's good.
Insecure.
Insecure.
Expanding.
Expanding.
Growing.
Growing. Warrior? Okay. We'll work on that. Confident.
Enthusiastic. I had 2 words moving forward, but
Oh my God, one word.
Progressing.
Do you know the title of this book? It's called The Power of Decision.
Well, popped in first, but it's progressing.
Progressive. Less.
Super Keller, wealthy, listed, espialidocious.
Well, if there was a prize for the book. Linda?
That's creative optimism.
That was creative optimism. Linda?
Determined.
Determined. Great. Okay. So now you have a word to live, unless it's worried. Right. Or a word to look at and say, okay. Or actually just look at the word and say, is this worrier? Is this worrier? Not warrior. Did you say warrior?
Yes. There.
which is worrier
Warrior. Yeah.
or warrior?
Warrior.
Like yeah,
Fighting warrior.
No, he's saying worrier. You worry a lot.
Warrior. Yeah.
Oh, it's lovely that you're all trying to make it more positive. Well, I think I got it the first time. So, could have been warrior. Please, Linda today said something to me about, what was that word?
Parking. Packing.
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 She was saying, she said, they don't have good packing. And I was like, I'm not moving anything. I'm not doing anything. And I went, oh, parking. Yeah, packing. So warrior. Got it. Okay, so here's the deal. So just look at the word and decide, is this who I want to be? Is this what I want to live? Is there a better word that I could step into? Is there a better assessment of myself to accomplish what I want to accomplish in the world of experience? That's really what this is about, yes? Okay, new material. So let's go to the power of decision. Don't ask me what page it's on. I don't know, but I will read you the quote. Okay. So I love this. We start with indecision. Sandy, indecision. So every success-motivated mind has been a decisive mind. William Charles Barker. Every success-motivated mind has been a decisive mind. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good at you are making decisions, really deciding when you need to decide, making a decision and moving on, being okay with it and just moving on. I don't need your answer, but you need to know it. How good at you are making decisions. Or do you go back and forth and you're not sure and you want to make sure it's perfect and oh, maybe I'll do this. Oh, I could do this. I mean, that's crazy making, isn't it? Yes.
You know, I don't have a problem making a decision. I have a problem acting upon the decision.
Ah. Then you know what? You know what I will tell you? You didn't make a decision. You may have thought you made the decision, but a decision is only something that you actually activate. Otherwise, you're still landing in nebulous world. Or you may not want to act on it because you're leaving yourself scapegoat to maybe change that decision. So, every success-motivated mind has been a decisive mind. Every failure-motivated mind has been an indecisive mind. And then this is totally for you, Alfie. Worry always begets indecision. What does that mean? Nancy, what do you think that means? Worry always begets.
You can't worry yourself into a good decision, into a right decision. That's impossible.
You can't. If you're a worrier, it's hard to make decisions because you have too much to worry about. So what's the, right, Sandy?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think the remedy is for worry?
Failure.
Failure? Mm-hmm. Did you say failure? Mm-hmm. That's the remedy for worry? Just fail and get it over with? Mm-hmm. That's good.
Faith? Belief? Faith?
That's not the answer, by the way. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you, but I'm trying to process that. Failure. Oh, do you think I mean what happens when you worry? Failure? Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I meant the remedy. Mm-hmm. What stops you from worrying? What could save you from having to be a worrier?
Action.
Okay. But what would make you
make a decision?
Trust. What would make you make a decision? What would help you to become someone else? JV?
Have a ritual that you do when the worry comes up.
Okay. Have a ritual that you would do when the worry comes up. Terry?
No, you cannot make a mistake.
Okay. No, that's it. Know that you cannot make a mistake, but I need you to go back further. Why can you not make a mistake?
Because some God.
All at once. No, that was good because you're God. Okay? God doesn't make mistakes. And you are God. Now, you may make what looks like a mistake because it may not feel good. But no matter what decision you make, it is still going to unfold. It's like a GPS. Is that the 5th time you've dropped that? Right? So that's a mistake. So whatever mistake you make, the GPS is going to then go, oh, you're doing that? Then we're going to go this way to greatness. Oh, you're making that decision? Then we're going to go this way to greatness. But we're still going to greatness. We're still moving for our highest and best. So when we know that, worry can be obliterated. I can't worry when I'm God. I just can't. Because I know my life is unfolding perfectly, no matter what. And those 3 words are very important, no matter what. So that's the whole. So what do you worry about? Well, I'll start with you, Alfie. What do you worry about?
For example, for the decision making, like for example, for at work.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have a boss. So for example, the boss was asking you to prepare something, some notes or some program or some reports. The way he will explain it to you is the long way, but you know it from yourself that you can do it in the shortcut. Mm-hmm. But you need to follow your boss because he wants you to do it his way, your way.
So you're worried about.
Mm-hmm. So instead of getting the conflict, I will do it on his way, not on my way. But well, in fact, I know how to do it on the fastest way.
Okay. That's what you're worried about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is good. Lynn, Robo, what are you worried about?
Things not working out, making a decision and taking action on it and not working out.
Okay, something not working out. Okay, is it possible for something not to work out? No, it is. In the relative world, it is. Mm-hmm. Is it possible to make a decision and have just hell break loose? Anybody ever make a decision and hell break loose? I made a decision to move our services to 5 o'clock. I'm dealing with that. It was a great decision for me. I love our 5 o'clock services, but not a lot of people, not everybody loves our 5 o'clock services. So now I'm looking to make another decision. Do I think it didn't work out? No, I don't think it didn't work out. Because if I didn't move the services to 5 o'clock, I'd have never gone to speak at Westlake, and I wouldn't be in the position I'm in right now. Everything unfolds perfectly, no matter what. What are you worried about? Nothing.
How many people I can't please at once.
Okay. So you're a people pleaser?
In a sense, that's my dedication. It's like I want to make sure everyone's okay.
Do you make sure that you're at the top of that list?
No.
That's the problem. You need to be at the top of the list. You can still have that list, but you have to be at the top of it. So what else? What are you worried about, Linda? Nothing?
No, I don't really worry.
Okay.
If something comes up, I just look at what's the next possibility.
Okay. Next. Okay. Gloria, what do you worry about?
Aging out.
Oh, now Linda found something to worry about. Erastus, what do you worry about?
Well, so that's what, I like my job, but I want to find more fulfilling job in my company. So sometimes
you worry that you won't.
That I won't.
Okay. Kelly?
Not looking perfect.
Not looking perfect?
Mm-hmm.
So physical?
Being just looking foolish.
Okay. You worry about looking foolish.
Not fulfilling my purpose.
Okay. Nancy Jo, what do you worry about?
Being alone when I'm 75.
How old are you?
63, pushing 64.
So you're going to worry for an entire 12 years. That's good. Very healthy. You do know you're setting yourself up for 12 years. And then it'll be being alone till I'm 100.
Not doing things perfectly.
Okay. What are you worried about?
I am not a worry.
Excellent.
My daughter is.
I worry about my daughter. Do you worry about your daughter?
No, actually, I have to remind myself that's
Not to
why,
worry, yes.
but I can see her. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I worry about forgetting things I'm supposed to do.
Okay. Do you forget things you're supposed to
I
do?
do.
By the way, there was something.
Alone, that's.
Okay. When you're 75 or now? Now. You want it now. You want it now. Terry, what do you worry about? Terry?
Yeah.
About your company, your business, ever?
I my health more than anything.
Okay, good. Tom?
Concerned about my wife.
Okay.
My daughter in finances.
Sandy?
Getting in trouble, making someone mad, and then I get in trouble.
What does that mean, getting in trouble? You going to jail? Getting in trouble?
Well, my daughter often says the Blackhawks are not going to come looking for me, but yeah, I do kind of have that. Like I'm going to do something wrong, and I'm, either going to get in trouble, yelled at, didn't do it right, and yeah, I'm going to jail.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
though I'm the most honest to the hill person, so it kind of, I don't know.
Okay, David?
Not being the best I can be.
Okay, JV?
Looking stupid.
Okay, Nance?
Looking stupid.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys up there, Mary?
Thank you for that.
That my motives may be misunderstood
Okay. Yeah, Marion?
as far as my professional life. You know.
Yeah. Get it. Marion?
Job security.
Sandy?
I worry about everything.
That's my girl.
But the common theme about everything that I worry about is money. I worry.
Okay, makes sense. Joselito?
Sometimes I worry about my pre-diabetes, that it might get worse.
I want to address that. That's good. Okay. Who else do I have? Carol?
Getting work.
Okay. Donia?
That I'm going to fail at life. That that I'll die unenlightened.
Okay, that's not going to happen. Shade? Oh, I think you're. Oh,
Yeah, I'm here. I'm worried about not. I had lesson a long time ago, and it's back, and it's hitting me really hard. I'm worried about the inability to receive.
okay, that's a good one. So, what you heard yourself say, what you need to do is make spiritual logic out of it. Okay? Whatever it is you think you're worried about, it's not true. And you need to make sense out of it. And how do you make spiritual logic? Let's go to Tom's wife. So, I could do a spiritual mind treatment here and just tell you the truth about her health.
Right.
But that wouldn't stop the relative facts from being where they are right at this particular moment. So the only way we can obliterate worry is to really understand life above and beyond and away from the relative facts. Right? And that's where Ernest Holmes comes into play when he says turn entirely away from the condition. And that is our job. Now, if you're an Irish Catholic like I was growing up, ours was turn entirely to the condition or worry yourself to death. Because my mother used to say, if you're not worried about this, you're not really paying it any attention. You're not really being serious about it. So we have to really fight that. And I know you didn't grow up with that, did you? Having to worry? No. Right, and neither did my kids. My kids were taught very differently about worry. Yeah.
My Irish Catholic mom would say, of course worry does something good. Nothing I ever worried about ever happened.
Sad, isn't it? Yes. Okay, so next quote. Your decision, right or wrong. Your decision, right or wrong, gives direction to your subconscious mind, and you are on your way to an end result. So this is the chapter on indecision. And when it comes to money, I call this Decide to Have Money for a reason. Because believe it or not, most of us, I will say all of us, are indecisive about money in terms of what we've decided to really accomplish in our lives. And I'm going to tell on myself, we're renovating our house, and the renovation came in at a much higher rate than I expected.
It always does.
I know. I've heard that too. But I don't want to buy it. I don't want to believe that. Although it's kind of proved itself, but I'm not believing it anyway. So it came in much higher than I thought. And I took a deep breath and I said, okay, let me look at it. And I said to Kevin, I said, I think we should cut this out. I don't need this because I want this. Because I want it because it came in and it didn't allow for this magnificent backyard that I had already planned on building. And him and the architect were like, no, let's do all of this and we'll do that part later. I was like, no, there's no later. I'm not interested in living in the house. I'm interested in living outside the house. I like the backyard. I want to be in the gazebo. I want to be in the pool. I want to be outside. I want to live outside. I'll come in when I need to. And so we were at crossroads there with Kevin and I, and he was like, well, let's just sleep on it. So I took the dogs for a walk, and it took me 2 minutes to go, wow, what did you just do? You just decided that you only had this much money. take into consideration what's the next. It's going to take 6 months to do this. You can surely raise in the next 6 months. You could blow through the roof of your earning income, but you've decided in this moment and in this decision that this is the amount of money I have, and this is all I'm willing to spend. And I walked back in the house and I said, all right, I made my decision. You're right. We'll do it this way. I said, but I will have that garden finished same time you'll have the house finished. I said, we will make that happen. He went, well, of course. He said, you can make way more than that in the next 6 months. And I said, why didn't you say that when we were having this discussion? But that's the way our minds go. And my mind went there. And I teach prosperity, which is why I got it in 5 minutes. But our minds go there naturally. We think this is finite. You look at this, but your decision, right or wrong, gives direction to your subconscious mind. What if I had gone with that? And let me tell you, many people go with that and make those decisions and say, this is all I have. This is what I have. How many people live on a fixed income? Who fixed it? They did, because they agreed with it. So your decision, right or wrong, gives your subconscious mind direction, and you are on your way to an end result. Start with the result. What result do you want? Make those decisions. That's the decisions we have to make. Decide to have money. Really. Just decide to have money. And then make the decisions based on the decision you made. Make sense? It sounds simple, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. It is. It truly is. So he goes on saying, life responds to your decision by what?
Corresponding.
Corresponding. Life responds to your decision by corresponding. So I make a decision not to do this part of the house. What happens? The universe corresponds and keeps me in a good place where I can afford what I said I could afford. Now, I want to be very clear, though. It doesn't mean I'm going to go out and borrow any money for this, because I don't believe in that. I do not believe in going into debt to get the things I want. I don't believe, I love how August Gold said this, I don't believe in making my God, in making my problems smaller. I believe in making my God bigger. So rather than trying to make everything smaller and get rid of the problems, make who you are bigger so that the problems mean nothing. So indecision is actually the individual's decision to fail. What a great quote. Indecision. When you are indecisive, you are actually deciding to fail. And then I love the whole chapter. Did you love the chapter, Stop Asking for Advice?
Yes.
How many of you are advice askers? How many of you kind of have to have everybody's opinion before you do something? You know, let's see what he thinks. Let's see what she thinks. Now, I do ask people for opinions. And I'm very clear now who I'm asking for opinions. I don't ask a lot of people for opinions. Like, I will ask Linda about Westlake for her opinion. In fact, what was it we were just talking about? And you said, pitch it. Because I was like, what was it? It was about something.
Jewelry counter.
The jewelry counter. So there's this jewelry counter, and I had already decided to move it up to the lobby. And she didn't say anything to me. And so I was like, I don't know, do you think that jewelry counter is going to look good there? She went, no, pitch it. And I thought, that's a strong opinion. So I think we're pitching it. You know, so it's not that you don't ask for advice, but who do you ask for advice? Why? And here's the bigger question. Why do you ask for advice? Are you asking for advice because you don't trust yourself? Are you asking for advice because you think other people know more than you know? Why are you asking for advice? I wasn't even asking for advice. I just wondered if she thought that would look pretty there. Then I got the advice to pitch it. So these are really important questions to ask ourselves. So this is one of my quotes, and this is something I wrote down. I wanted to share this with you. The first time I took this course with Dr. Walker, which must have been 20 years ago, and I wrote this little note to myself in the whatever that's called of the book.
Margin.
The margin of the book. Self-talk either makes you or breaks you. Self-talk either makes you or breaks you. So the question I have for you all is, how do you talk to yourself about yourself? Now, we did the assessment. So what things do you say about yourself that you wish you didn't? How often do you berate yourself? A number of you talked about perfectionism. How many perfectionists do I have in this room? Besides Suzanne Benoit.
I'm recovering.
I know you're a recovering perfectionist. JD?
Well, I used to be, and then I just said, oh, what? Just throw it to the wind.
I used to be, but now I'm not. It's perfect. You're not a perfectionist, but the people you deal with better be. So if you are a perfectionist, it's very possible you're really kind of doing yourself some disservice by constantly critiquing yourself. Or who was it that said they didn't want to look foolish? Just three of you.
Yeah.
Look foolish.
Mm-hmm.
Did I ever tell you the story about when I was in Funny Face with my zipper? I was doing a show called, Suzanne's heard this one. I was doing Funny Face, this big show that was on its way to Broadway, and I was the star of it, and it was an old Fred Astaire vehicle that they put on stage. And right in the big number where I sing, I love your funny face, I'm sitting on a bench. I'm sitting on a bench in those 1920s big pants, you know, and I'm sitting on a bench, and it's a Saturday night at the Goodspeed Opera House, and the audience is packed, and I'm sitting there, and my sister, who plays my sister, we're having this conversation, and the music starts to play, and the audience is laughing. And I'm like, God, I hate drunk audiences on a Saturday night. And I'm thinking this, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just about to start singing, and I actually sang the first verse, like, Frankie dear, your birthday gift reveals to me. And they're laughing and laughing. And then I had to stop singing, and I'm like, and I looked down at the musical director who's looking different place, and I looked down, and when you're sitting, my zipper was, I had pee apparently, I left the zipper open, so it was so wide open, all you saw was my dance belt and my legs. And when I saw it, they literally burst into laughter and just started applauding. Imagine how embarrassing that was. And I just stood up, turned around, went like that, and then I have to tell you, it's one of my favorite moments ever on stage, you know? And I could have really looked foolish. And then the producer had my producer was like, to my dresser, he said, John Mercucci said, John, you were to follow him onto the stage every night, every entrance, and check his zipper. And I was like, do not touch me. You can't check my zipper, just mention zipper. And that's never happened again. But if you ever see me, I've talked about it, if you ever see me on stage, I will every now and then do this.
Yeah.
Do you ever see me do that?
Yeah.
It's me checking the zipper. I've just learned to do that. Because there are moments when I've actually found it, and you haven't even noticed. I've been like, oh. So be foolish. Let yourself be foolish. The perfectionism has to go. Okay. Now let's talk about original thinking for like 5 minutes before we take a break. So original thinking. Here's the quote. Original thinking does not come from another person. Right. So let's talk about this idea of having original thinking. Too many people are trying to do things that are new, trying to find that next thing, the new thing, trying to make it original. But that's not what original thinking is when we talk about the original thinking that Barker's talking about. He's talking about you thinking from an original perspective. Not, can you come up with an original idea? How many of you have ever tried to come up with an original idea and really been exhausted? Especially as a writer, right? Coming up with an original story, an original script. And then you turn around and the Oscar goes to this love story between a boy and a girl. That's it. What's original about that? Nothing. The voice that spoke the story was the original voice. It's not the original thing out here. Yeah. How do you find your most original voice?
Go inside.
Meditate.
Meditation.
Okay. Yeah, that's all correct. And all those things are to do what?
Get quiet.
Listen.
To get quiet, to listen, to do what?
So
to hear what?
Can come through.
Your spirit. Or
to hear God. To hear what? To hear God. To hear what's that mean to hear God?
To hear your inner, authentic.
So wouldn't it make sense that the most successful route to that would be to know who you are in the first place? Mm-hmm. We're back to self-assessment, to knowing who you are in the first place, because then when you're listening, you're actually hearing the original truth of who you are. So our decisions should move us in the direction of our desires being fulfilled. That's what we're doing this month. That's what this whole month is about, for our themes, right? Mm-hmm. Consciously creative. I am consciously creating my life. I decide to be happy. I decide to be rich. I decide to be fulfilled. I decide to be love. Be love and receive love. For whoever said the thing about receiving, I think it was Shade. So I decide all of these things. If I have a problem with receiving, I decide to be someone that receives. That's it. I don't think there's a trick to this. I just decide to be someone who receives. That's it. Which means then you have to make choices. Someone offers you to take you to dinner, you don't fight them for the check and say, no, I can't accept that, I can't accept that. You just say, thank you. Even though I tried for a moment. But I've learned, because it does sometimes feel awkward. It's like, no. It's like, no, thank you. How many of you have trouble receiving? Okay. Stop it. Linda?
I did it for a long, long time. I was always the giver, always wanting to make people happy, and then say, oh, let me back. No. And then finally one day somebody said to me, Linda, do you know you're depriving them of their own good because you don't accept them?
Yeah.
And I went, oh my God. So since then, I receive very openly.
Yeah.
I open my life to receive.
Yeah. So if you're going to decide to have money, you better be receptive. How are you going to have it if you can't receive it? It's not going to know where to go. There's nothing receiving it. There's no receiver on the other end. Okay, know what you want, decide it shall happen, and act upon the decision. Know what you want, decide it shall happen, and act upon the decision. Number one, know what you want. How many of you know what you want? Absolutely know what you want out of your life. Okay, what do you want, Alfie?
Good future.
Okay, what do you want, Nancy Jo?
I want to enhance life on the universe by doing comedy for change.
Okay, what do you want, Jimmy?
I want to help at least 2 people every day with 100% passion, intelligence, and wisdom. I want to be properly compensated to the tune of at least $100 million. And there's other things, but
A day?
how much time we have.
$100 million a day?
Yeah.
Why not? Karen Frost, what do you want?
I didn't raise my hand about it.
I know, I asked you anyway.
I know that I want to enjoy my life, and that's what I choose.
And that's enough said. That's really it. Everything you're saying is going to make you have fun, but if you actually decide, which by the way was my whole talk on Sunday, if you decide that joy is the only thing you're interested in, I'm interested in enjoying my life. Did I say I'm interested in enjoying my life? I'm interested in enjoying my life. Enjoying it. Right? So, know what you want, decide it shall happen, and act upon the decision. I hate to give you all these Broadway stories at once, but here's another one. So, when I saw the musical 42nd Street, how many of you remember the original Broadway 42nd Street? How many of you saw it? Okay. I went to see 42nd Street, and I decided this part was mine. I said, you know what, I'm going to play that part. And my friend was playing it, Leroy Reeves. So I went about my business, and I was starring in a bunch of shows, and suddenly the role was available. So I'd already decided the part was mine. Know what you want. I knew I wanted that part. Decide it shall happen. I'd already decided who better than me to play that role. Act upon the decision. What does that mean, act upon the decision? Well, okay, I want that role. What's going to have to happen for me to get that role? I'm going to have to audition. I haven't reached the point where they just offer it to me. I'm going to have to audition. So what am I going to have to do? I'm going to have to sing. No problem. I have that in spades. I'm going to have to act. Don't even have to think about it. Hand me the script. I'll be brilliant. I'm going to have to tap dance as well as they do. And I'm a great tap dancer, but I'm not really fast at picking up auditions when there's 100 guys on stage with me and we're all trying to pick it up. It's something that I knew who I was. So I hired one of the kids in the chorus to teach me in a private studio the audition. No one said you couldn't do that. That was not dishonest. I said, would you teach it to me? It was, as a matter of fact, I'm assisting on the audition, so I know exactly what we're going to teach. I was like, great, I'll pay you. I go into a studio with him. He teaches it to me. I work my butt off. We get to the audition. They start to teach the audition, and I'm like, and I've got the whole thing down. And I remember the choreographer, Randy, looking at me like, why you pick things up so fast? I'm like, I always have. And I got the role. That was it. They hired me that day. You know, I just kept letting people go. Got down to 2 of us, one of my idols, and I got it over him. It was shocking. I did it. That was it. I've always used that story as the perfect example of know what you want, decide to do it, and then take action. Don't just say, this is what I want, it is mine now, and sit still and expect it to come to you. It doesn't. You gotta do the work. If you do the work, what happens?
You get the results.
You live the results. Thank you, David.
So no sleeping beauty.
What you say?
No sleeping.
No Sleeping Beauty. Although she did pretty well. Last thing, do not limit your decision by investigating the probable reasons why it will never happen. How many of you do that? How many of you check ahead and say, is this something that's going to happen? Is this going to work? You know, because very often the thing that's going to happen that you're going to be shocked about is the very thing that you weren't expecting. Expect the unexpected, which is what this night is all about. Expect the unexpected. So let's take our break on that because it's 20 to 9. So 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes. Pee, grab a glass of water, and come back. Or stay.
snow, you get snow, you got ice, right?
I might even get out that way.
I came through there in an ice storm once this year ago.
Oh, where's that?
Yeah, exactly. But it's still should be wide. I still gravel Texas.
Everyone, let's go back. Jerry Taylor, do you have your order?
Thank you. Everything you did was great, and I appreciate that.
Hey, JD, would you see who's in the kitchen? Okay, welcome, Jerry Taylor, to our moment of prosperity time, moment of truth.
Here it comes. Oh, no, that's not you. Oh, gosh, with Terry Taylor. Oh, that's an else.
You say deep thoughts.
Yeah, there's been many, hasn't there? In class. Some stuff came up this week that I really noticed. This class is bringing up a lot of stuff for me. Is it for you? I mean,
Yes.
we think we know everything and come to a class like this, and all of a sudden, all new stuff. I have a couple people I work with on a regular basis that I do personal work with. And I had two experiences. One of them told me that it was because of my age, it was the flu season, and if you get colds this time of the year, you really need to take care of yourself. And I couldn't even respond.
Oh, rude.
It was like incredibly hard to respond to it. Another gentleman told me, I'm getting married in June, and it's going to cost me this much money for the $5,000 for the area we're going to get married in, a couple thousand for the food. And I said, wow, do you have that much money? He said, no, but I'm going to get it. So it just occurred to me the difference of people around you. And, we talk about our own mind. I'm really much more careful today not to be around people that have that negative, you're going to get the flu. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for you. What is your secret to success in business? Just in a sentence or two.
I am incredibly tenacious, passionate. I have a lot of drive, and there's just no excuse for not doing it. I don't let myself or my employees not do it. If they can't make it, they're gone. Okay? It's that simple. And yeah, I go through my struggles, but I have goals that I keep setting. This year, I intend to double the size of my business, and last year was very good.
What kind of business is it?
Debt negotiation. I get people, businesses together and negotiate debt for them. I'm going to open up a branch in China in the next couple of months because that's where a lot of the money is coming from in the country. I'm going to do a trade show. And
trade show, you need to jump on that. Dancing girls.
You need an assistant.
Anyway, it's almost like there's not enough. I want more and more and more. Yet I'm not greedy, and I take time for myself. I take time for my family. But there's this tremendous amount of passion, and you all of you who know me know that that's the way I live.
Terry, can I say something to Lori? You're also looking at someone who tithes.
Right.
and has been tithing since he was how old?
35.
Yeah. And his
35, 40 years.
And his
42.
career keeps, his money, his finances keep expanding. Even when he has like a really rough time, he's still.
No matter how rough it is, somebody said, how do I tithe when there's not enough money to pay the bills? Well, that's when you tithe the most. That's when you go deep and you say, I trust the universe. I trust God. I trust myself. I know there's billions and skillions of dollars out there, and it's going to come to me. That's when you do it the most, is whenever you're the brokest, you do it. Now, that's hard to hear, and it's hard to do, but let me tell you, what happens to you, you change your own consciousness by doing that. You see things differently. You will see money opportunities all over the place that you haven't seen before because your thinking is different. It's just like that with 2 stories I just told you. My perception is totally different from one to the other. I want to get away from the one and I want to come closer to the other. And that's what happens with money. If you're tight on money, and even if you don't have enough money to pay your bills, tithe. Please, please, please. It's the greatest gift I can give you. I don't need to come back here ever again. If you just do that, you guys, it just works. It works. And
But you're coming back every week.
Of course I am. Yes.
But Terry, isn't it also tied to your belief? But
You have to believe it's going to work.
Well, that's
Because if you don't believe it's going to work,
It's
if you
not
don't
gonna
believe what James is teaching you, and you don't believe that those books are teaching you, and you don't believe what I'm saying, don't do it. Don't waste your time.
It doesn't work.
It won't work. You have to believe it. But sometimes you gotta trick yourself into believing it. Whatever it takes to get you to believe it. You have a question. I can hear it. I can hear it in your thought. Yes.
We don't know. I was just late, so it's a little.
You're looking at him in that tone of
All right.
voice.
Looking at that tone of voice.
How, when you had never tithed before, how did you, what?
I told the story about how I went to an EST type thing with Terry Cole Whitaker and made a huge commitment for a year of $10,000 in the 70s. It became who I was. That drove me. And I saw what it did for me. I tripled my income that year. I made the commitment of the $10,000 and I felt like a new person. Yes, sir.
Terry, I got a question for you and perhaps also Reverend James that has to do with tithing. I believe in tithing. I'm practicing this year more than ever I have in the past.
Are you tithing or are you practicing?
I'm doing it.
Are you tithing 10% of your income?
No.
Then you're not tithing.
Well, okay, then I'm giving.
You're giving.
More than I ever
That's
have
okay.
in the past. So here's my question. It's not in the giving that I'm concerned about. It's that to me, when I'm hearing you have to believe it, et cetera, there's an echo of superstition. There's an echo of magical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
There's an echo of if you do this, you'll get that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't give in order to get that, or at least I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give because I want to give. I want to give because I believe Reverend James deserves it. I believe that the Global Truth Center deserves it, and that's why I want to give it. I'm not opposed to saying it'll return to me. I just don't want it to become magical thinking where I'm saying, in order to get that, I must do this. You understand what I'm saying?
Does hypnotism, is it magical?
No, by no means.
Why not? It's an altered state.
It's a scientific
It's an altered
process.
state. You're putting your people in, and only because they believe it does it work.
That's true.
You can't hypnotize anyone. They allow you to hypnotize.
That's absolutely true.
Same thing.
So that's correct. So there is a law of compensation. There is a law of giving and receiving.
Mm-hmm.
There is a tithing law. And what it says is that as we give, so we receive. The law of attraction even. And you have to be receptive to it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're giving because you want to get back, you're not receptive to the law. You're negotiating.
Right.
You're trying to trick it. You're trying to you're giving to receive. So that's a mindset that basically what's really being responded to? That consciousness, the consciousness of, I'm going to give because I want more back. That consciousness will bring more lack, most likely, which is why a lot of people try tithing and don't continue with it. Tithing is, for me, getting in alignment with the law of giving. That as I give, I receive, and trusting and knowing that that's always the way it works. And that is the way it works. Same thing as gravity, really. It's just the way it works. And I understand what you said too about, and I know that about you, that you are giving more than you've ever given before.
And by the way, I want to amend that. I am tithing. I just realized that I have begun tithing.
Okay.
10%.
Excellent.
Be really conscious of that and allow that to sink into who you are and realize that you are giving 1/10 of your income to where you get your spiritual good. Okay? Because the gift is to you, God, not to him, not to global. It's to you. You're giving a gift to you.
You're giving where you were spiritually fed.
Right.
And that's
And
really,
that's
really what
that's the gift you're getting to yourself.
Great, thank you.
Anything else? Thank you, guys.
So that's to me, David, that's what's so amazing about that. How this law works. And tithing that wasn't the easiest thing for many people to do. I just sold a building. When I wrote a tithing check to this center for 3 figures, is that 3 figures? 6 figures.
6 figures.
Yeah, 3 figures, $110. It was 6 figures, but I gotta tell you, I didn't gas. It's just automatic now. It's just the way it works. So back to this. Indecisive for fear of making mistakes. How many of you worry about making mistakes? Okay, so we talked about that God doesn't make mistakes, right? So the quote is, let God be God and keep your hands off the process. What does that mean, Preciosa? Let God be God, which is you, and keep your hands off the process.
Get out of your own way.
Yeah, so if let God be God means let Alfie be Alfie. Just let Alfie be Alfie and stay out of the way of trying to make it work. We live in a world where everybody's trying to make everything work. I have to make it work. And I know I have suffered from that in my life. Many of you know me well enough to know that I've suffered from, I will make this work. But you know what? God as me will make it work, but get out of the way of it. And if it's struggling, if it's troubling, if it's hard, if it just keeps feeling hard and hard, it's probably because you're trying to push a circle into a square. And you're determined to make it happen, even if it's never going to happen. So, another quote in this chapter is, too often the past still rules the present. And then he says, the indecision pattern is an unconscious abrogation of individuality. This quote is just amazing. The indecision pattern, the pattern of not being able to make decisions, is an unconscious abrogation of individuality. What does that mean? Anybody know? Can you guess what that means? Reverend Karen?
Could you read that quote again?
Yeah. The indecision pattern is an unconscious abrogation of individuality.
It makes me think of the whole nature-nurture debate, but everything that we do is a relationship to choice. So something that happens in life, I make a decision that this is who I am. And the being indecisive is just something I decided about myself a long time ago. It's part of my identity, and that's just what I do.
So she's correct. And the idea of abrogation of individuality, it means she's decided this is who she is. That's the pattern. I'm indecisive. That's just the way I am. That's the way I live my life. Stops you from being the individual because you are now this image. You decided to fit into this box. I am this person. Do you ever hear yourself saying, I'm this type of person? Jump away from that sentence. David?
I think it also refers back to what you had talked about a few while back, which is the idea of always seeking someone else's opinion, always asking for someone else's ideas of that particular thing. And when you do that, you start taking on their perception of what it is and relinquishing yours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then not being, and there's something so amazing wanting to come through every single one of us. So
I have a question. Is that tied to responsibility also? Is how I see it is like that I'm too it's a gift that I have that I don't want to use, and another one is that if I'm indecisive, I don't want to take responsibility for what happened in my life.
Sure, absolutely. And that's actually, the next quote is, you project yourself onto the screen of life. And I'm sure those of us in the room that like to write and produce and direct and do shows and such, this is a great image. He says, in your own life, you are the projector of your consciousness on the screen, onto the screen of experience. I mean, what a great image, what great imagery to know that my conscious mind is a literal projector, projecting the way my life is going to unfold. I'm literally playing out the scene, the story of my life with the way I'm using my mind. He says, the subconscious law of mind, and he was great on procrastination. Who was it that talked about procrastination? The subconscious law of mind knows no procrastination. It acts instantly on all conscious mind decisions. So how great would it be if we actually believed and knew that when we made a decision, the universe acts upon it and it is done. Which is why as practitioners we say, and so it is. We never hear us saying, and so it will be as soon as this all comes together. No, and so it is. So, the subconscious law of mind does not know procrastination. Procrastination comes from us. It acts instantly on all conscious mind decisions. And I love somewhere in the book, Raymond Charles Barker talks about the fact, Ernest Holmes, he talks about the fact that you can say that something's not working, something's not happening, but in truth, the very fact that you believe it's not happening is proving that the law is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, which is not make it happen for you because you think it's not happening. Did that make sense? Did y'all get that?
Yep.
I mean, think about that. So, you've got this amazing tool that if you actually used it and said, you all wrote your amounts, right, of what this year is going to be. Anybody change it this week again? No? You're all living with the amount you decided to make this year? Yes? Alfie? Yes? Okay. It's a good amount? You good with it? You didn't raise it at all?
No.
No? No?
Not yet.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
I think so, yes.
Okay. Okay. Did you? How about you? You're good with it? Okay, good. After today's recommendation, I can't imagine you don't double that. So if we really believed, I'll say this to myself, if we really believed that our subconscious mind was merely there for us to tell it what to do, what would we tell it what to do? If you literally could say right now, here's what I want you to do, and knew that it was done, what would you say? I'm asking myself, I'm thinking, what would I really say right now? I know what I would say. It's a great question.
Oh, yes.
But Raymond Charles Barker is telling us that's the way it works. Ernest Holmes is telling us that's the way it works. Troward told us that's the way it works. Emerson told us that's the way it works. Jesus told us that's the way it works. Aristotle told us that's the way it works. Oprah. And Oprah told us that's the way it works. So why are we not using it that way? That clearly, this is my decision. Ideas are like feathers. Sorry, I gotta read that again. Ideas are like feathers in the wind. When one floats by, you get to grab it and make it yours, or allow it passage to the next mind. Indecisiveness is someone who lets all of those ideas just pass by. Because if you are indecisive, you are not laying claim to any of them. You're not, because the next person will grab it. I love that whole concept. He also says in this chapter, the ideas are the hope of your world. You can join the ranks of the wise by contemplating yourself as cause. Let me read that again. You can join the ranks of the wise by contemplating yourself as cause. Doesn't that sound like I am God?
Yeah.
It's just another way of saying it. You can actually literally upgrade your life by recognizing that you are cause. You are that energy of cause. You are the means by which the infinite acts upon the plane of the particular, in you, through you, and as you, the creative process seeks outlet. And then he talks a little bit more again about original ideas. So, when was the last time you had an original idea?
Last week.
Today.
Today? What was your original idea?
I did this video. It was a live video. I was trying, every day I do this live video, right? And so I have to come up with an idea. What am I talking about? What am I teaching? And I came up with an idea.
Okay, great. Nancy?
Yeah, I'm visited a comedy writing class, which I think I'm going to take, and as soon as it starts. And as I was thinking about that, this stuff just started pouring through, and I thought I wrote it down, and I can see it on the left-hand page, but I've looked through everything and I can't find it. So today I started writing it down. But when it comes through like that, it comes through whole and complete. There's nothing to do with it. You just get it.
That's what Elizabeth Gilbert talks about. You've got to write it down. That's taking it and writing it down.
Absolutely.
I love in her book, Big Magic, when she talks about that book she wanted to write, and she just kept writing. This got me away, that got me away, and then finally some friend of hers wrote a book about the exact same thing, and she was like, and it's yours. Because it was your idea. I didn't claim it. I didn't decide. It was fine.
So
And
take action.
The feather quote is very similar to hers.
Yes. Yeah. So, progress happens, I love this, when leaders arise with new ideas. Progress happens when leaders arise with new ideas. You are a timeless, spaceless individualization of life. You are a timeless, spaceless individualization of life. So I would like us all to say that together. But instead of you are, I am. Just repeat after me, each piece. I am a timeless, spaceless, individualization of life. Let's say the whole thing.
I am a timeless, spaceless individualization of life.
How's that feel? Timeless, spaceless. And I love this quote. Ideas never get stale, but people do. And the mind of God is a well that never runs dry. So, I said this the very first week we started this class, which was that we could kind of capsulize this whole class by saying that truly if we were willing to decide anything, it would happen. And that this 10 weeks was about making what's the word I want to use? Making an agreement with what we want to decide to have in our lives. And money, while on my Facebook page someone said was the root of all evil, money is God in action. With money, a lot can happen. Without money, a lot can happen. But with money, there's more to do, there's more to give, there's more to be, there's more to receive, more to experience, more interconnectedness. So we really need to get in a proper mindset when it comes to money. It can't be that it's like, I don't know that we need to spend so much time talking about money. Someone said that to me this week. He said, I don't know that, in religious science, they spend an awful lot of time talking about money. And I said, correction. In religious science, a lot of people spend an awful lot of time talking about not having money. That I find. And therefore trying to fight back at that. But this isn't that. I don't think we've really talked about how much you don't have. It's really, what are we willing to accept? What are we willing to be equal to? And the other part of this is this, before we go into spiritual economics. How much comes through you as desire? How much are you open? How open are you to feeling your desires? To feeling your wants and your needs? How open are you to answering those desires, to listening to those desires, to dealing with those desires, to conversing with those desires, to deciding if those desires need to be met or not? Or do they come up and leave us in a sense of wanting, a sense of not having? Because some people take desires that are coming through in a negative way or in a melancholy way. Oh, it's coming up because I don't have it. That's not it. It's coming up because you are equal to it. Every desire that comes up is coming up because you are equal to it. Do you know that? Not because you don't have it. So if you have a desire to have more, to be more, to have more wealth, more opulence, more success, more love, whatever it is, if that desire is coming through you, it's coming through you because it is you. You are equal to it. All you have to do is decide to say yes to it. That's how simple it is. That's the whole premise of Raymond Charles Barker's book. Okay, so let's move over to Eric Butterworth. Same thing. So, listening to your desires. Are you willing to listen to them? Are you willing to honor them, respect them, decide to literally live that? Here's what Eric Butterworth says. You are a living magnet, constantly drawing to you the things, people, and the circumstances which are in accord with your thoughts. You are a living magnet, constantly drawing to you the things, people, and the circumstances which are in accord with your thoughts. So, I think it would behoove you to take a look at the things, people, and circumstances which right now are in your life, and then trace it back to your thoughts. What's going on in your life? What's going on in your mind? They're equal, totally equal. And this is one of the parts of this teaching that gets difficult for people, the responsibility factor. That you are the creator of everything that's going on in your life. So.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you're dealing with other people and you know that I am responsible for everything going on in my life, when do the other people that I'm having to deal with become responsible for what's going on in their life that affects my life?
It doesn't matter. You're not in charge of what. I'm not in charge if Karen's got stuff going on in her life that's impinging on my life. I'm not in charge of how she deals with her stuff. I'm only in charge of how I only take responsibility for me. And if you're trying to fix them, to make your life better, you're on a really big treadmill that's never going to go anywhere.
What do they call that? Codependency?
Got it.
Codependency, yes. Yes.
Got it. Because this week, as I was making decisions about my life, I noticed that some of the people around me couldn't deal with it.
Yeah. Oh, well. Right. Oh, well.
And so they tried to make my life miserable.
It's like that quote I have in my office. If you're not being fed, don't come here to eat. I will not be offended. You know, I mean, that's it. And God is speaking no matter who's talking. So if someone's saying something to you don't like, you're there for a reason. It's just the way it works. Again, you are a living magnet, drawing to you the things, people, and the circumstances which are in accord with your thought. In accord with your thought. You want to stop attracting those people? You want to stop attracting those circumstances? Stop thinking those thoughts. Actually, as you know, you can't really stop thinking those thoughts unless you actually change the belief. Get in there and find out why you're thinking those thoughts.
I was trying to think better things, and that was when...
Think better things of those people.
Oh, because it was kind of like, and just who do you think you are to think these things? That was the
About
reaction
you?
I was getting.
About you? They were thinking that?
That was the reaction I was getting from
We have to, I've had a lot of experience with that this week. We have to really not care what other people are thinking. And here's the deal. We have to not care what they're thinking, but if we hear it, there's a reason we've heard it. So what is there to know here? As annoying as that is, I heard it, so there was something I needed to hear. Because if I didn't attract it to me, it wouldn't have come to me.
Is it that you heard it or is that you noticed it? Because the fact that you're spending time thinking about it, people are constantly saying stuff all the time, but the fact that you thought about it means that you're thinking about it for a reason.
Somehow the magnet that is me brought that to me, right? So what did you draw to yourself this week? Quickly, just Nancy.
I just got a note in the mail that I'm going to get an extra check for a film I did that I wasn't expecting to get any money for 2 years ago.
Awesome.
Yay!
Yes. What else? What did you guys draw to yourselves this week?
Steps toward making those children.
Steps towards making those children?
They're getting there. Yeah.
You had a date?
Whoa! I did.
Oh, a good date?
Yes. Karen heard about it.
In line before she dumped you? Good for you. Good. Lori?
I have a new client who decided to pay me double what I asked for my hourly rate.
Wow.
Worth every penny.
Yes.
David?
I've been noticing that my practice has not only been steady, it's increasing. And I've been discounting my sessions for a variety of reasons, but I'm noticing that now I'm attracting people who are able and willing to pay what I know that I'm worth.
Yeah, that's great. I attracted a BMW SUV with only 37,000 miles on it. It's an amazing shape. As you know, I've been trying to buy a car, and I've been out test driving all these cars, and my rather indecisive mind this week has been like, maybe the Mercedes, maybe the BMW, oh, I love the Lexus, and I was determined to get the perfect car. And I kept saying no to things, and then maybe this, well, maybe this one. And in the midst of it all, out of nowhere, somebody texted me and said, I have like a gorgeous BMW SUV that I don't want to drive anymore. It only has 37,000 miles, and it's like, it's really gorgeous. And I just turned to Kevin and said, we're going over the hill. We drove over the hill. I borrowed it for a day. I said, let me just borrow it for a day and see how I feel in it. Before getting back over the hill, I was like on the phone going, yes, I'm buying it, I'll take it. And here's the deal. For a price that was ridiculous, just ridiculous. I mean, an SUV BMW in perfect condition, 37,000 miles, and I paid less than $15,000. What? The person was like, I don't need to make any money on this. I don't even need to make any money back. I just want you to pay off what I owe.
Oh, X3?
X5.
X5.
Wow.
So yeah, so there you go. That's how I attracted this week.
I attracted my biggest night at work ever.
Awesome. Now tell them what you do.
I run the table game section at a casino in Ventura.
So people made a lot of money that night, and so did you.
That's correct.
Excellent. Anybody online? What did you attract this week? Anything exciting?
I attracted a person who could potentially place me in large corporations as their health coach to deal with obesity and all the absences it causes, and so that's really fun.
Good for you. That's great. What great work you're doing too. Awesome. Okay.
James?
Yes.
I had signed off on an insurance claim saying that I wouldn't ask for any more money. And they contacted me this week and said, oh, we just found something and we'd like to send you a check for $1,734 over and above what we paid you. And I had already signed off that I couldn't ask them for any more money. And they came to me just pushing it on me.
Yeah, because most insurance companies want to give us more than we've asked for, right?
Right.
That's great, Carol. Okay, so can you accept full responsibility for your life?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm getting it.
Full responsibility. That means you take full responsibility, Nancy Jo, for everything that's happened to you up to this point. Everything that's happened to you, Sandy, no matter what, no matter who did it, you take full 100% responsibility. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Sandy?
I don't know why you look at me because I don't tell anybody take responsibility sooner than later because I went kicking and screaming way too long and it doesn't work. It just doesn't. Don't try to fix anybody. Don't try to change them. You never will. Change your perception and it definitely,
So there's a great quote in here, which is, your fortune begins with you. Or in other words, your fortune begins with you. Meaning, if you're willing to take full responsibility for your life, now you're ready to reap the rewards. But you really have to look back. Then one of the things I'm going to ask you to do this week is really look back over your life. Every aspect of your life, every incident that you can think of. And here's how you'll know it's an incident. You'll think of it. It'll come up. That's kind of it. You know, you just go back and go, okay, what am I still holding on to that I think someone else did to me? Where am I still holding on to a perpetrator and myself as a victim? Where is that? Because one of the things that really stops the flow of prosperity is victim mentality. Because you are holding out that someone else is responsible for your life in whatever way, shape, or form. So that's one of the things you'll do this week as you go through. He goes on to say there is no way out. You are always on the side of the problem, or you are on the side of the solution. That's another thing to pay attention to. Are you a problem solver, or are you a problem solver, or are you a problem worrier? Right? Okay. I love this. Your negative thoughts of fear and worry. I keep looking over there. Your negative thoughts of fear and worry are depleting your good faster than inflation erodes the value of $1. So fear about money, fear about, I told you last week that it was so funny that when our church books looked lopsided, and I was like, that's odd, something's up. And something was up, and it was the bookkeeping. I had to go in and redo the book and see what's going on. So I didn't have fear, I just went, that's impossible. That's how you have to approach these things in your life. What's the truth behind that? Where's the truth? And even if it showed up, that's the reality. Well, okay, then what have I been thinking? Because that's not working. Your negative thoughts of fear and worry are depleting your good faster than inflation erodes the value of $1. I was going to leave it at that, but then I thought, no, someone's going to stop me and say, wait, it says something positive after that. Your positive, optimistic thoughts add to your good more dramatically than compound interest increases your bank savings. He also says here that you can't make law work. This is great. You can't make the law work. You can't make the law of tithing work, as Terry was talking about. You can't make that work. You can't make the law of giving and receiving work. It just does work. You get in the way of it. So law is an inexorable process. So why does it seem not to work? Well, it seems not to work because we base it on our experiences, but our experiences are actually the perfect result of however we're using this law. So go to page, look at this, I'm giving you a page. Go to page 39. I want to read this for you.
I said, I forgot my book today, but I said, but it was great because Ronnie emailed me and said, I'm reading spiritual economics and getting all this out of it. So it was the best forgetting decision I made.
Good.
That's why it's always all good.
So second paragraph, page 39. The important truth is that you are a spiritual being with the allness of infinite mind within you. Whatever your needs may be, the answer is not to get God to give you more through some divine sleight of hand process, but rather to uncover and release your own imprisoned splendor. Avoid the temptation to try to work the law, and thus to materialize the process. Get your mind off the idea of, this is great, get your mind off the idea of making a demonstration in life. Center your awareness on a deeper sense of life, and the demonstration will begin to make you. Anybody else that just get goosebumps when you hear words like that? I mean, how many of us are trying to make demonstrations in life? And this is really what Eric Butterworth was all about. I remember being on the retreat with him, and he was just he was one of those people that if you just got next to, I remember the night we were walking back from the fire pit together, and he didn't talk. I was jabbering away. He didn't say a word. And then I just found myself not talking because I felt like I was boring him or something. But just walking with him, and there was something about him that he just understood. He didn't have to do anything. He didn't have to work at anything. He just it lived him. And that's exactly what he's writing here. Get your mind off the idea of making a demonstration in life. Center your awareness on a deeper sense of life, and the demonstration will begin to make you. Okay, almost done here. It is often in the consciousness of immaturity that a person may turn to the wheel of fortune as a way to strike it rich. So when we talk about tithing and about giving, when we try to cut a deal with the law and say, okay, I'm going to give you this, and I want this back. And I told you about the person that recently said this to me and basically said, here's what I'm willing to give. I'm willing to give this to get this. And I was like, oh, no, you're not really not getting what I'm trying to say here. That does not work. This idea of tithing has to come from the sense of knowing that that's the way the law works. And I want to work with the law. Work with the law. Let the law work with me, live me. So forgiveness is a big part of that. It's all about causing the flow to keep going. I can decide to have money, but if I'm also going to decide that people cheat me, I'm also going to decide that the world's an unfair place. You know, I'm not really letting the flow go. So when I'm saying I'm deciding to have money, I decide to have money because I know how the law works, and I am in alignment with the law. And I give and I receive, and I give and I receive. So I decide to give more and receive more and give more and receive more. And it just keeps going and going and going, which is how Terry has expressed this. And he answered David's question the way Edwene Gaines answered people at our church when she came here. when one of our members said, I am tithing. She said, are you giving 10% of your income? And he said, no, but I'm close. And she said, you're not tithing. Cut right to the quick. And it was fascinating to watch because the person she did it to was very taken aback by it. But by the end of that session, he was like, I get it, I'm tithing. And I think he's been tithing ever since. So it's not about making a deal. It's not about a get-rich-quick scheme. It's about, are you in flow with the law or are you not? He says, in an orderly universe, there is simply no way in which one can get something for nothing. It is an orderly universe. It's unity. It's a unified world. It's not the world of chaos. We don't get lucky. There's no such thing as luck, which is where we are now. How would you say your luck is? Well, you shouldn't answer it either. If someone says, are you a lucky person? Don't even answer it. No, I'm a decided person, decisive person. I know that when I make a decision, it answers. That's it. There's no luck. As Mae West said, luck had nothing to do with it. There's no luck. It's not about luck. It's about, do you know the law? Do you live the law? Do you live on principle? There is only one way in which you can change your luck, and that is by altering your thoughts, he says. And then he talks about getting the breaks. And you've all heard my story about my family, most of you, about how my family's whole motto was, we never get the breaks. We never get the breaks. And anytime something happened to me where I didn't get what would be conceived a break, my God, they drove that home with me, cemented it home. So check in with yourself. Are you one of those people that feels you don't get the breaks? Or even that there are breaks to be gotten? Because there aren't. There's no break to get. Nancy doesn't get a break when she gets cast in a movie. She's equal to that part. It's hers. That's the way it works. Karen will not get a break if she becomes a minister of a center. It will be because she's equal to it. That's the way it works. For every single one of us. So, page 43. Second paragraph. Sophisticated religious beliefs, to the contrary notwithstanding, the average person's living philosophy centers at a point somewhere between the belief in kismet, the inevitability of fate and destiny, and the luck of the draw, with a subtle effort to change that luck in every conceivable way. A farmer may install a horseshoe over the barn door. One may carry a special charm or amulet in the pocket. Religious people are among the most superstitious, though they justify the practices as being part of their religious teaching. Call them what you will, all the little charms, meditations, medallions, figurines that people wear and hang on their doorposts or dashboards are done essentially for good luck. They constitute an attempt to alter what Voltaire calls the concatenation of events. That was a different word. However, life is not a game of chance. Your fortune is not influenced by caprice. It is determined by the shape of your consciousness. In Julius Caesar, Shakespeare put it in the mouth of Cassius, the meaningful statement, "The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves, that we are underlings." Meaning, the fault is that somehow we believe we are not God. We believe we are some lower incarnation of God. And then the last thing, go to page 47. I would like to close this class with this, with Thoreau. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. He will put some things behind, will pass an invisible boundary, new, universal, and more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around and within him. Or old laws will be expanded and interpreted in his favor in a more liberal sense. And he will live with license of a higher order of being. So that last little thing there, he or she will live with license of a higher order of beings. That's kind of instructions for us to really step it up, which is our theme for the year. Step it up. Go to a higher level of consciousness so that you have a higher level of living. Can't get much simpler than that. Any questions? Next week, chapter 3 in Spiritual Economics, the law of visualization. And I will start with a visualization next week. Read chapter 3 in Power of Decision. And then here's what I'd like you to do for the experiential part. I want you to pay attention. Now, this will take conscious, deliberate action on your part. So write this down, Reverend Linda Fisher. Pay attention to ideas as they come and go through your mind. Be conscious of the ideas. I want you to write them down. As Elizabeth Gilbert says, take them. Write them down. Even the ones you have no interest in. You can release it back into the world of feathers. Okay? And then let's see how many ideas you can be conscious of in a week. Now, obviously, I'm not going to have you all read them. You should be conscious of many. But at the end of your day, take a look at all the ideas that floated through your mind and see which ones really stick. You know, pick them. And when you come back in next week, what I'm really going to ask you for is to tell me what ideas popped into your head that you've decided to actually activate. Okay? So is everybody clear on what that is? You're going to spend the week really paying attention to the ideas that pop through your head, that come through your consciousness. Write them down. And it would also be a good practice, release the ones you don't want. You've already written it down. You've already taken it. Make a decision. Say, you know what? I'm not really interested in that one. Okay, and let it go. But it'll be on your page.
So what was the third one? One was to write them down, and then on the third one, how many ideas you decide to...
When you go through all of them, take a look at the ones you want. And I think I'm going to adjust this a little bit because I like this idea. Keep the ones you want, and just, you've written them down, just put a line through the ones you decided to release and let go. So that you're actually being very decisive. You're conscious of what you're getting, you're conscious of the ideas, and you're conscious of what you're doing with them. Clear? And we are going to use that, so please bring in those lists. Okay, that's it. Shall we close out? Karen, do you want to close us out?
Sure. Do you want to do? Did we do the giving?
Oh my God, I have to do the giving. Yeah. Thank you so much. Hold on one second. Hold. I am so overwhelmingly prosperous, I didn't even think about it. Yes. I'm ready to give. So hold on one second.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a question.
Okay.
For those online, is there a particular place we can go to?
Yes. If you go to globaltruthcenter.org, the website, you'll see the donate button right there. And you can go right to
Okay.
just go right to the donate button.
Will it indicate that it's donated to the class? Or?
Yes, just when you do it, just write down that you're going to decide to have money. Hold on, it's coming. Okay, here we go. So here's what I know. I know that all there is God. All there is love. All there is prosperity. All there is the giddiness of spirit. And what I know now is that each one of us give from that place within ourselves that is open and equal to receiving the opulence of the universe. As I give, I receive. As I receive, I give. And I'm so grateful. So, so grateful. And I just allow the giving and the receiving to begin.
So in this exchange, this kiss, this recognition of the fact that money itself is God in action, I know that everyone here is personified God in action. And each person's decision to choose to move from a place of conscious commitment to expansion, to allow, to use treatment to expand our minds and allow for new ways of thinking, attracting money into our lives, new ways of being. This conscious commitment that we all have with each other and with this center allows not only our own experiences to expand, but the experiences of the entire universe. We are God in action. And so I am so grateful to have participated in this experience. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you for participating in this prayer, in this truth, in this giving, knowing that we are the wisdom, the unlimited nature itself. And I'm so grateful to know that everything that needed to be known was known, that everything that needed to be heard is heard, that the assignments themselves allow us to feed and grow and nurture our bodies, our minds, our spirit, and the world that we live in even further. That the consciousness of our being moves forward to create a place of peace, but also more expansion with our own lives and everyone around us. And I'm so grateful to know this, to know that what's happening in this prayer is not just the activation of law, but the mental energy and decision and communion with the law itself. As I release my word, knowing it is absolutely done. Together we all say,
and so it is. So did you all get my meditation last week?
Yes.
I did not.
Really? I sent it out to everyone. Okay, I'll be doing. Yes.
Oh,
It's at the bottom. It was a 4-minute, I think, 4-minute meditation for you to listen to every morning. I will send another one out tomorrow for everybody to spend the week. Just plug it in the morning and listen to it. And that's your day unfolded. That's it. Have a great everyone. Thank you, Reverend Karen.
I'll see you in a second.
Wondering if you were going to sing again.
All right.
She's saying the time is
Yeah.